All right, welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. I'm Dax Holt. I'm rolling solo today. Adam Glenn is out traveling the world. He is currently on a plane, so we are going to roll without him today. But no, he will be back for next week. So obviously today is Friday, which means it is the Raw Rundown. We get into all the top stories of the week, get you going into the weekend knowing exactly what happened in Hollywood news, so you feel informed, you feel up to date, and number one, you can shit talk with your friends about what happened in Hollywood news. Anyway, so obviously we say this all the time. This list of top 10 is compiled by number one, just all the data that's flying around out there and what is ranking. Number two is our personal beliefs. And number three, also our personal beliefs. No, I don't know. It's compiled. Adam actually sent me the list today. He said, here, these are the topics. Go talk about them. And so that is what I'm going to be doing. I got all kinds of fun stuff. There has been it's been an okay week. There's a lot of lawsuits. I feel like a lot of entertainment news that are different Real Housewives stars in going to jail, and there's some fun stories. Boobs getting signed. I mean, there's quite a bit in the news this week, so we're gonna jump into it. Obviously, I got to read one review for you real fast before we get into this because you guys know I love reviews. So this one comes from Boxer Central. It says, love you guys. It's a 5-star review. Said, loved the Larry Namer E story. Would make a great movie. Thanks, Ann H. from Lubbock, Texas. Thank you, Ann. And I'm sorry it's taken so long to get to your review. There was quite a backlog going on, but I appreciate you stopping by. Larry, he did interest a lot of people. He was the guy that basically started E, and Adam had interviewed him a couple months back. But fascinating stories. So yeah, thank you for taking time, leaving that review. All right, let's jump into this so I can get through this because there's just a lot to talk about. So number 10, Jessica Simpson. I don't know if you guys saw this photo that she posted on social media this week. If you have not, while you're listening, pull up your IG, go to Jessica Simpson's Instagram page and take a look at this photo, because a lot of people are saying they don't even recognize her. She is sitting, it looks like, in some kind of record studio, or I guess recording studio. And she looks very just bizarre. And I don't know, it's like fishnet stockings and these big high heel shoes and like tiny little white dress, a suit coat, but it doesn't look like her. And I don't know if it's just because she looks so skinny. I don't know if it's the makeup job, what it is, but I wasn't the only one that thought it didn't look like her. If you scroll through the comments, it is comment after comment after comment saying, what has she done? What has happened? People blaming of her of taking like Ozempic and all kinds of stuff. And you know what I've learned in this industry is makeup can completely change the way you appear to people. And it might not even be a big change to the person. They don't see it in the mirror, but contouring here, contouring there, and they look completely different. Either way, some people siding with her, saying she looks absolutely fabulous, that this is her feeling free, that she is feeling creative. She's back in the studio singing. She's wanting to release this new album for us. So leave her alone. Either way, I'll let you be the judge of it. I'm just simply putting it out there to make you go and check it out yourself. She is saying that she can't wait for all of us to hear the soundtrack of her soul. She hasn't put out music in a very long time. Remember, that was kind of like really how we got to know Jessica Simpson back in the day. So it'll be interesting to hear if she still has those same talents in the studio. So anyway, go check it out. Let us know what you think. Come join us on our private Facebook group called Off the Record. That is where you can really talk the shit, and we can all read it, but it's not out there publicly. But go to hollywoodraw.com, and there's a link to the private Facebook group there. You can request. I'll take a look at you. Make sure that you are actually a fan of the podcast, and I'll let you in. All right, let's move on to number 9. Maurizio is spotted out, obviously Mauricio from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Kyle's ex-husband, or estranged husband, I can't even say ex-husband, estranged husband, is seen out with a new model kissing. Her name is Claudia Kay, according to TMZ. But, you know, him and Kyle have always done this like Aspen trip when it comes to Christmas, New Year's. They've spent the last couple of years, they would always go out there as a family. But Mauricio is now out there with this this woman who, like I said, her name is Claudia Kay. Apparently, she's a 33-year-old woman. He is 54. You know, he's obviously that real estate mogul, but there's a bunch of photos, videos of them. Looks like they're shopping, and then a couple shots of them kissing and hugging each other. And, you know, they're not, him and Kyle are not divorced. I don't think people realize that there is a separation, but there has not been an official divorce that was filed. And so a lot of people find that really weird that they're out doing their own thing. But I think what it comes down to is to try to separate their assets is probably a nightmare at this point, that they had been together for so many years. They had really built an empire together. And now to try to separate that out can be quite a hefty burden. You're losing money to the other person. You're paying people out. You're selling homes. You're doing all these things. And a lot of people are like, I just don't even want to think about it. And I think that's the case with them, is they haven't wanted to think about it, and they've just kind of pushed it to the side. They both admit that, yes, they are free to date other people. She said on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen on Tuesday that she has had thoughts about dating, and that, you know, her and Mauricio are still very good friends. They get along really well. We have lived our separate lives at this point, and the talk about divorce just really hasn't come up at this point. And when it comes up, obviously they'll address it. But, you know, there's going to be a moment where the other person wants to move on. And that is whether he decides to, you know, get engaged to the next girl, or she decides to get engaged herself. There will be a point where they have to face this. And I think they just don't want to at this point. So anyway, he's been doing a lot of dating. She really hasn't. I mean, there was the rumors that she was dating Morgan back months ago. No real official confirmation of that, but he has been out. I remember we saw him in Mykonos with a different girl a couple months back. It looks like those two have broken up. So he's clearly out there living his life, not worried about needing to get a divorce by any means. So whatever, we'll see. It'll just be a lingering news story like it has been so far, I'm sure, for many more months to come, until they decide to pull the trigger. Okay, let's move on to number 8. Real Housewives star of Atlanta, Peter Thomas. You know him. He was Cynthia Bailey's ex-husband, or is her ex-husband, was her husband, has now been sentenced to 18 months in prison. This is after pleading guilty in that tax case. This has been a story that we have brought up a couple times, saying that he was headed to court, that this was an issue, he was caught, he was arrested, all of that kind of stuff. Well, now he is facing jail time, along with so many other reality stars, it seems like these days. But now he's going to be spending a year and a half in prison. So there was a rep for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Western District, North Carolina, that told TMZ the Bravo personality, who was obviously once married to Cynthia Bailey, has been sentenced to these 18 months after the tax issues. So following the sentence, Peter will now have 2 years of supervised release. So after he comes out, 2 years of supervised release. He's also been ordered to pay $2.5 million in restitution to the IRS. He pled guilty to one count of failure to pay trust fund taxes after being accused of repeatedly evading paying the IRS between 2017 and 2023. So and this is with several of his businesses. This is not like a one-time thing. It wasn't like an oops, I forgot to pay. He was clearly avoiding taxes. And, you know, he had all these restaurants. He owed nearly like $650,000 to the IRS in trust fund taxes from his employees' wages in North Carolina. And that was just kind of a glimpse of his woes, because he's also been accused of failing to pay more than $2.5 million in employee taxes over a 6-year period from his businesses in various states. So when he finally reports to jail, he'll be placed in a facility close to Miami as possible, and will have access to educational and vocational programs and substance abuse treatment programs as well. So this is a big deal. He did put out a message recently on social media saying that he was willing to, quote unquote, face the music for consistently withholding taxes for businesses over 10 years. And, he admitted, he goes, look, I thought that I could rectify the situation by getting on a payment plan. But he really learned the hard way that it doesn't work like that. So let this be a lesson to all you young people out there. Pay your goddamn taxes, or it's going to catch up with you, bite you in the ass. And once you start making a lot of money, it will become very apparent to the government that you are doing some dirty deeds and trying to avoid paying what everyone else is having to pay out there. So anyway, I think that especially for all of these stars, they are really being made examples of. Like, just because you're a celebrity, just because you're famous, just because you've made a lot of money and been successful, doesn't mean that we can't put you behind bars. Because a story like this, it's a good message to a lot of people out there. Doesn't matter who you are, you don't pay, you're going to jail. Or prison in this case. All right. This has been a pretty big story this week. Probably should be moving it up the charts, but I wanted to get to it. So number 7 is Ethan Slater's ex-wife is really opening up for the first time about their split, and how Ariana Grande got involved in their relationship, and not only Ariana and her husband breaking up, but Ethan and his wife breaking up because of them coming together. Well, she's now kind of talking about it, and shockingly, she's not even ragging on him. It is actually pretty sweet. She's being very kind in this whole thing, talking about the end of the marriage, and really not throwing him under the bus, which is pretty crazy. She's actually apologizing to a lot of her therapy patients because she no longer lives this like anonymous lifestyle that you would want. So Lily J is her name. She's a clinical psychologist and a high school sweetheart of Ethan Slater. She wrote an essay that was published in The Cut on Thursday, and it's all about just the public nature of her split with Ethan. And she said, look, I realized that I became this like spectacle in the public eye, despite being in a profession where patients are better helped by not acknowledging their therapist's personal life. And I can totally get that. Like, if you're a therapist and you're in there and someone's talking about their relationship and their divorce or their woes, they almost don't want to know what your issue is, because they walk in and they start thinking, well, this woman may have more issues than I do because her relationship is all over the news and the TV, and now it kind of throws off the whole dynamic of being inside that patient-psychologist relationship. So she compared it to when she was pregnant with her healthy child while speaking to women whose own children face life-threatening complications. Though she didn't want to hide her pregnant belly, none of her patients mentioned the pregnancy, which was allowing for a detachment between her sessions to their outside reality. She then went on to say that her split from Slater was much the same, with patients not acknowledging her very public divorce, though she constantly dragged into grief when seeing an unending promotion for Wicked. And Slater obviously met Ariana Grande during this movie production, but I think that's tough, man. You lost your husband to another woman, and it was on a project. And I got to imagine that Jennifer Aniston probably had a very similar feeling. She lost her husband to Angelina Jolie while they were filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And then next thing you know, it's all the promotion leading up to this huge movie, them being on the red carpet together, them doing interviews together. I think that was probably one of the most hurtful things that could happen, really, in all honesty. And so whatever. I think that's got to be tough for anyone to know that a relationship broke up because someone else met someone, but then it to just be rubbed in your face. And with how popular this new Wicked movie has been and all over the TVs, got to be tough. Anyway, but she had been Lily went on to be very complimentary of Ethan, saying that, look, their romantic relationship is over, but he is 100% committed to parenting their son, and that he really says that that motherhood fills her time, but not her mind sometimes, and that Ethan is actually a great father, very committed, devoted towards the child. And I think that's the one thing that when you're a mother, like that's what you want to see. Whether or not your relationship worked out with the guy, if he is there for the kid, that is a really big deal for her. So anyway, she says that despite all that, she's focused on her son and doing what's best to navigate a spotlight that I never wanted or experienced before, and that she obviously wants privacy to properly navigate through the issue. So anyway, she did end it by saying that, listen, that there's no longer a future with her high school sweetheart, but she expects a lifetime of sweetness is waiting for me and my child. So really taking the high road. Damn, for someone who lost her husband in such a public forum, definitely taking the high road. But I'm going to guess that comes with her knowledge of psychology and just understanding yourself, your feelings, knowing yourself better than most people, I think, could understand, and not having big outbursts, because you understand that, like, this will come back to bite me someday, or my child's going to read about this one day, and I don't want that to be the headline that pops up first. Anyway, very impressed with her. Okay. What number are we on? We are on number 6. Number 6 is that Jay-Z's lawyers are now asking to dismiss that whole rape lawsuit after the accuser had an interview, and there was an admitting, I guess, and there was all this severe legal misconduct that has now been kind of like stirred up in the case. We've talked about this a couple times. This goes back to the lawsuit where Diddy was first accused of raping a 13-year-old girl after an MTV awards show, that she was taken back to an after party and she was allegedly drugged, wound up in a bedroom. When she came to, supposedly or allegedly, Combs was in there, an unnamed celebrity and an unnamed female celebrity. Well, then Jay-Z was the one who was named in it after all was said and done. Well, Jay-Z has not backed down. We've talked about that a couple times. He has not backed down. He wants to make sure that he fights this, that he says he's 100% innocent. So the judge, Jay-Z's lawyers, asked the judge on Wednesday to basically extract the rapper from the lawsuit, in which she accuses him of that rape, and says that that basically none of the facts in the story make sense. That she says that she was offered this ride after the MTV Video Music Awards to the after party, and that the lawyer cites that there was a recent television interview with NBC News in which the accuser acknowledged inconsistencies in her story. So they're like, you even acknowledge that what you have said numerous times doesn't make any sense. His lawyer said that in a filing, that when pressed by NBC, that Jay-Z's accuser was forced to admit, I have, quote unquote, I have made some mistakes. I may have made a mistake in identifying. Not all the faces there are as clear, and I guess even guessing about some of the key details, including the time it took to reach the venue. And then what's more is she admits she didn't have a single collaborating witness over the last 24 years. So imagine she doesn't have anyone to say, yep, I saw you there. That's kind of a big deal. And then Jay-Z's team said that Wednesday that the accuser's unsupporting allegations crumble under scrutiny as evidence and lack thereof, basically revealing glaring inconsistencies and outright impossibilities. And then among some of the inconsistencies cited, it was that there was a quote-unquote jumbotron that wasn't present according to authorities at the MTV personnel, as well as evidence that both Jay-Z and Combs were photographed at nightclubs after the award show when they were accused of being at a nearby house. And then Jay-Z's legal team said that taken together, the factual inconsistencies, timelines, and possibilities and lack of collaborating evidence make his accuser's allegations wholly unreliable. So they went through and they basically started checking away at every single thing that she said and why she's making mistakes left and right, which means they should be throwing out this lawsuit altogether. So we'll see what happens here. And I did read somewhere that even the accuser's father, so I guess there was a point where it said that he needed to come pick her up from that after party. Like, she called him, he had to come pick her up. Even he says that he doesn't remember picking her up, but it would have been like a 4 or 5 hour drive. So they're saying, how does a guy not remember driving 5 hours to go pick up his daughter from this if this was such a big moment? So anyway, there's a lot coming out about this. We'll see if a judge ends up siding with him or says, nope, I want this to go to trial. And you remember, this Combs trial will be in May. So that's really what they are gearing up for. All these lawsuits are coming forward to pin him in court. And so I anticipate May will be a very exciting, interesting month, especially for the Hollywood Raw podcast, because there'll be so much information coming out. All right, let's move on to number 5. Lizzo speaking up about how hurtful those sexual harassment lawsuits were against her. And she says that, look, she was just completely blindsided, surprised by this, especially after she felt like she kind of really like helped out a lot of these women. So she's now breaking the silence. She sat down with Keke Palmer for her podcast, Baby, This is Keke Palmer. And she said, I was just deeply hurt by what these ex-dancers, especially since they weren't even a part of her 2022 Watch Out for the Big Girls tour, and said that she had previously given them opportunities to. So she said that Lizzo got candid with Keke, and she said, look, I have always appreciated them as dancers. So when they suddenly turned on me, hitting me with these like legal complaints while she was living her dream, it came as a complete surprise. She said, and then on top of that, the About Damn Time, and then on top of that, she revealed that hearing sexual harassment allegations thrown into the mix is what really hurt her the most. And then beyond that, she addressed the allegations on her Facebook post back in August 2023 when the lawsuit was first filed. She said, these last few days have been gut-wrenching, difficult, and overwhelmingly disappointing. My work ethic, morals, and respectfulness have been questioned. My character has been criticized. Usually, I would choose not to respond to false allegations, but as they are unbelievable as they sound and too outrageous not to be addressed, these are sensationalized stories are coming from former employees who have already publicly admitted they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional. So definitely not backing down. By the way, if you go search up this video, a lot of talk has been going on about Lizzo losing a lot of weight, and you can really see it in this video. She's lost a ton of weight. I think she is very proud of her new body. I mean, Lizzo's always been proud of her body. She's always been like just a beacon of happiness when it comes to her body. When it was one of the things that made her super successful at the beginning was because she didn't care about her size. And she said, look, I'm still sexy. Doesn't matter what my size is. And you would see her in very little clothing or naked or whatever. And that strum up a lot of publicity for her. But I like seeing people, if they're happy in their body, that's what I like to see. And I think she's truly like really happy with how she feels and looks and all of that. So anyway, that was a side note, super random, personal. I like seeing that. All right. We are on what are we on? We are on number 4. The Stallion seeking a restraining order against Tory Lanez. Keep in mind, he is still in jail right now, but she's accusing him of psychological warfare. So she is now requesting a restraining order against Tory, who she alleges is harassing her from prison through social media and utilizing third parties. This is all according to courtroom documents obtained by People. But on Tuesday, her real name is Megan Pete, by the way, filed a petition for a restraining order requesting that the Los Angeles Superior Court judge prevent Tory, whose real name is Dastar, I believe is how you say it, from orchestrating harassment against her through third parties. She is saying that that Tory has allegedly continued to harass the singer, even while behind bars. Per this document, despite being sentenced to 10 years in prison for shooting her, he continues to basically victimize her and go after her, causing her repeated trauma. And so she's like, I want it to stop. And she is basically saying that there is a not a podcaster, but there is a, oh my God, what is it called? Hold on. Let me find the word. A blogger. Why couldn't I remember that? There is a blogger. So she's saying that there is a blogger that he has basically recruited, whose name is Milagro Grams, whose real name is Milagro Elizabeth Cooper, to engage in this like relationship where she will talk crap on Megan and keep pushing her, all because that is what Tory wants from behind bars. So she is saying, I need this to stop. I need to go along with my life. I no longer want to be a part of this. You shot me in my foot. You deserve to be behind bars. Now leave me the hell alone so I can continue on with my life. I guess there's been audio recordings from jail listening to Tory talk to this blogger's dad and say that he's going to send money. And the relationship got exposed, that there was this kind of like relationship to get under Megan Thee Stallion's skin. So anyway, that is, we'll see if the judge ends up siding with her and getting this restraining order. At least maybe it will make it stop this constant barrage of information going after her and targeting her. So there you go. All right, we are on number 3, James Kennedy breaking his silence after the domestic violence arrest. God, there are so many stories this week on domestic violence and jail, and there's just a lot of crap going on. This comes after he was taken into custody last week after authorities responded to a call about an argument between a man and a woman in a Burbank home. But he was taken into custody on December 10th, and this was at his home in Burbank. But he said, I am committed to making meaningful changes in my life. This was all something he put on his Instagram story on Tuesday. He said, I am taking time to focus on my sobriety, personal growth, and being present for my loved ones. Navigating challenging moments is not easy, but I'm determined to learn, grow, and move forward with the incredible support system around me. So not much more than that. I don't want to dive too deep. We have talked about this. We talked about it last week, where on December 10th at like 11:30 p.m., Burbank police were dispatched to a regarding an argument between a man and a woman. The investigation determined it was a domestic incident leading to his arrest, and then it sounds like he was booked for misdemeanor domestic violence and then later posted bail, and then the formal charges are being pending a review by the city attorney's office. So lots going on. But yeah, he clearly needs to focus on his life at this moment. So that's really the first statement we're getting out of him. We talked a little bit last week about how the whole Vanderpump cast, I think, is probably in a tailspin right now after they've fired everyone and they're getting all new servers for Sir. That kind of is a huge crush to your reality star status when your TV show goes away. So they're probably all trying to find their footing at this moment. Obviously not an excuse for what's happening in his life, but maybe that opens up for a little more peek into what the hell is happening. He's probably all over the place. All right. Number 3 or number 2. Damn, number 2 already. All right. Definitely got to check this out. But Mariah Carey signing Rihanna's boobs at a concert this week in Brooklyn. I love this. This is an amazing video. Jason Lee, who is from Hollywood Unlocked, he posted this on his Instagram page. So hopefully you won't get mad if I play a little clip of this. But it's basically in the middle of the concert. You see Rihanna is there. She is watching Mariah up on stage. She's dancing. She's having a great time in the audience. And then at one point, Mariah walks by the stage and Rihanna catches her attention. And she starts walking up the stairs, and Rihanna's like, no, it's me. Like, come back. And Mariah pauses. She looks down, and you can tell that she doesn't know for sure if it's Rihanna. And so Rihanna takes off her sunglasses and is like, no, it's me. Come back. And Mariah backs down the stairs backwards, well, I don't know why she went backwards, but nevertheless, she went back down the stairs, comes all the way over. And this is a mid-concert, guys. And she realized, oh shit, it really is Rihanna there. And Rihanna pulls down her shirt and says, I want you to sign my tits. And so Mariah grabs a pen and she's like, what do you want me to sign? She goes, well, Mariah, what the fuck else would you want me to have you sign? Sign it. And she goes, it's iconic. And it was just kind of a really fun moment caught on tape.
Sign my tits because my man made me forget.
That's me. Let's go.
What do you want me to write? Mariah. Okay. The fuck you think? Whatever you want. Wow, this is iconic.
You see Rihanna fangirling out for Mariah, because the moment that Mariah turns back around, you look and you see Rihanna and she goes, oh my God, she's coming back. To see Rihanna be like that to me is funny because she does that to everyone else. So to have her fangirl out over someone else is a fun moment. I really liked it. It was a great video. Rihanna, you see her grab the microphone, and as she actually talks in the microphone, she's like, Mariah's signing my tit. And everyone starts clapping and cheering. And I don't think the audience fully knew what was happening, even though I believe Mariah said it kind of into the microphone, but you don't hear all the cheering and the screaming like you would hear if they could see. Because if they could have seen, that crowd would have been insane. But I don't know if one of the cameras from the concert was actually recording and projecting it on the big screens. So either way, I don't think they knew what happening. Now they do, because the story has made so much news over the last day and a half. But great video, really, really fun. And Mariah's obviously, this is her time of the year, people. It's Christmas time, it's holiday season time, so she is in her full Mimi renaissance. Okay, let's move on to the number one story of the week. Taylor Swift getting surprised by her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, with a giant Eras Tour themed party. So obviously she just wrapped up the Eras Tour after 2 years of traveling around the world, going to all these different countries, performing in front of 10 million people, I think she said that she performed in front of. This is the highest grossing concert tour of all time. Well, Travis surprised her with this rap party, which I believe there's been some conflicting stories of whether or not it was just a rap party or it was a rap party and a birthday party, or whether it was a rap birthday party, and an engagement party. But either way, there's a lot of questions going on. It looked really cool. It was this basically small, quiet dinner that became a giant surprise party for her friends. So she went in honestly thinking she was just going to have dinner with him, maybe a couple friends, and then the door opens and it's all of her buddies. Ashley, her good pal, ended up posting a bunch of photos on Instagram on Thursday, giving everyone a glimpse inside the party, which was really fun. But it was her 35th birthday last Friday, and so when they got into the party, it was all these themes. So you had to show up from what Taylor Swift era was your favorite. So a lot of people walking around, dressed up, having fun. You see all these props inside of there as well, like the mop and broom, case that she would get kind of carted out to the stage, and that everyone found out that it was her getting carted out there. They've got that there. But this was all planned by Travis, which is really cool. He was there wearing the tuxedo and top hat. If you remember in London, that was kind of his first time on stage performing with her. So he was wearing that outfit. Patrick Mahomes and Britney showed up. Patrick was dressed as Travis from that London performance, and Travis's mom was there. They had all these kind of friends, family, everyone there. But one thing a lot of people are talking about is a lot of people are thinking that this was an engagement party, because a lot of the photos, people are going, does it look like she may have blurred out her ring finger? And by ring finger, I mean a ring on her ring finger. Did she edit it because she's not ready to announce an engagement? But so many conspiracies going on online that Taylor Swift is actually engaged and just not announcing it yet. Because what better place to do this than after the tour, on her birthday with all her friends and family there. If Travis got down on one knee in front of her friends and family, it would be an amazing event for her. So whether or not that is true or not, I don't know. We haven't seen any videos. I think if there were more videos coming out, maybe then we would be able to get a glimpse if there actually is a ring on her finger. That would be a little bit harder to edit out quickly. In photos, obviously, it's easy, but there's also moments where she's drinking, and right after girls get engaged, they become like fully left-handed, and every photo is basically a shot of somehow them getting their ring into the shot. And that's what a lot of people are pointing to. She's like posing with her girlfriends, but she has the drink with her left hand. And that's the one where they believe that maybe she has edited out an engagement ring. I don't know. I go back to, I love these two together, and I don't know why I love these two together so much. I feel like he is a good catch for her. She's a good catch for him. They complement each other a lot, and they just seem like a really fun pair. So if he planned this whole party for her, that's the type of stuff that I think is going to end up getting them down the aisle. I don't know. They're a fun little couple. So anyway, we'll see whether or not they announce any type of engagement in the next couple weeks. It'll definitely be on her plans. Not when we want to hear it. It'll be when she wants to put it out there. Her team doesn't seem to leak anything. She knows she's got this information on lockdown. So happy birthday, Taylor Swift. She's 35, and good job, Travis, on putting together a hell of a party with a lot of friends, family, and a really cool theme. And that is it. So that is our Raw rundown for this week. The next 2 weeks should be a little interesting. There's never a lot of information that are news stories that come out in the week of Christmas and the week of New Year's, but we will do our best to continue bringing you guys the latest entertainment news. Thank you for checking in with me this Friday, and make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. If you're watching on Red Coral, thank you. And a big shout out to anyone who is leaving us those reviews on Apple Podcasts. Very, very much appreciated. You can follow us on our private Facebook group, or join us, not even follow us, join us in our private Facebook group so we can chat directly with you guys. Head on over to HollywoodRaw.com and have links to all of those places I just mentioned. You can follow Adam at Adam Glenn. You can follow me at Dax Holt, and we'll talk next time. Bye.
Guys, hope you liked that video. We got a lot more where that came from.
Hit that bell, like, subscribe, share with a friend. The best thing you do to support us is really doing that. And we really need the money because we need hair gel.